going on, Eagles fans, and welcome to a special edition of the Philly Experience podcast, where Max, T, and I are going to dive deeper into the Eagles' schedule now that we let it marinate a little bit. It's been over 2 weeks, and we've been looking into it. The Eagles play just two national games, no London game, but a game on Halloween. Guys, let's get right into it. What are your record predictions for the season?
Ooh, oh man. So I have looked at the schedule. As a matter of fact, this will be live. I'm going to make my numbers prediction the minute this is over because I want to do it with you guys. I want to do it on this platform, and I want to set this record straight right here, right now. I'm not making any changes. I'm not changing my mind. Let's do this.
I'm with T here. I'll give you guys a quick tease. It's going to be somewhere between 7 and 9 wins. I don't know if I can get them over that 500 mark, so to speak, giving them that 8-9, 9-8, because obviously there's the extra game added this year. But I will say that I'm definitely not as down on this team right now as I thought I would be going into this season, especially when the schedule got released.
Right. Look, not a hard schedule, but not an easy one either. I have the Eagles coming out with a winning record that kind of made me cringe a little bit when I was going through the schedule, but that's what it came out to be. Wow. So let's start. Atlanta Falcons, week 1. What are your guys' predictions for this? Let's start with the basic win or loss. T, let's start with you.
Ooh, man, this is a hard one for me because both teams, they're really like building up their rosters again. However, I'm just going to give the slight edge to Atlanta only because of the home field advantage and the fact that Matt Ryan is still there. Matt Ryan is still the quarterback, and Matt Ryan does have a history of kind of lighting his team up in the dome. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite here. I'm going to go with the Eagles to open up the season 1-0. I think the Falcons defense is still subpar. Last year they were, I believe, bottom 3 in the league in total defense efficiency. I think that's going to continue this year because especially using that first round pick on Kyle Pitts, obviously that upgrades the offense. And of course, we'll see what happens with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley's still there as well. But I think that defense is going to come into play for the Falcons and hurt them. And I think the Eagles will get out of Atlanta with a win.
Yeah, I'm with you, Max. I'm pretty confident with this matchup week 1 against the Falcons. Mentioned Matt Ryan. Yeah, Ridley over there. We don't know what's going on with Julio Jones. You can expect he will not be there. And also the Falcons are going to be out without Todd Gurley too. I think that this matchup is favoring the Eagles. Now you have Jalen Hurts starting. His first start of the season, obviously he played 4 games. He started 4 games. He's going to go in and he's going to probably be a little shaky, maybe the first couple of snaps. But I think the Eagles had this one in the bag.
All right.
Let's move on to week 2 against the Niners, the home opener at the Link. There's going to be a crowd at the Link. What are your guys' expectations with this one?
Now, last season, the Philadelphia Eagles did beat the San Francisco 49ers, and that was with Carson Wentz starting, even with Carson Wentz making all of those mistakes and things of that nature. The 49ers are a better built team, I feel like, at this point than the Philadelphia Eagles in terms of defense and even a little bit on offense to get Jimmy Garoppolo back this season. I'm sorry, but it's another loss for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tim, with you on this one. The 49ers coming to Philly, get a win. I think their defense is going to be back, going to be healthy, of course. You got Nick Bosa specifically coming back on the defensive end after tearing his ACL last year. We'll see with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, that's the one thing you hold out hope for if you're an Eagles fan. You hope that Jimmy Garoppolo still is mediocre at best, and the Eagles may maybe get a couple of turnovers, maybe fumbles, interceptions, get plus field position. If the Eagles win that game, it's going to be a close one throughout. But again, I just feel like it's too much firepower, too well coached, especially for the 49ers. And I just feel like the Eagles won't be able to match that.
Yeah, we're all on the same page here. I think, unfortunately, home opener is not going to end the way that Eagles fans want to. With a loss, the healthier 49ers team, Nick Bosa back, that's going to be a challenge for the Eagles offensive line that is returning. However, once again, you got the rookie Jalen Hurts back there, and I think that the Niners are going to have their way with this team. Yeah. On to week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. What are your guys' predictions?
Monday night game. For some reason or another, this team always rises against Dallas. For some reason in their stadium, I'm going to give them their first win of the season against the Dallas Cowboys. For some reason or another, they just somehow, someway, they're always able to rise to the occasion against the Cowboys. So I'm going to give them a win in this one.
I'm going to give the Eagles a loss in this one. I think going on the road, I feel like it's going to play out really similar to how it did last year in 2020 when we saw the Eagles go to the Cowboys. It came right down to that last possession. Couple turnovers the Eagles had. Jalen Hurts still trying to lead the team down the field and score that touchdown. But I think they're just going to come up a little bit short and they fall to 1-2 on the year.
Hate to say it, but Dallas has a great roster. Just prolific offense. You got Dak, Zeke, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and then you go on to their defense, a couple of guys too. Like I said, classic rivalry game, but I think that the Cowboys are also going to get this. They're going to get this win. It's going to be hard to watch as the Eagles lose 2 straight, but I'm going with the loss for the Eagles. All right, week 4 at home against Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Chiefs. What are your guys' predictions?
No explanation necessary. That's a loss. That's an automatic loss. Just toss it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to sit here and tell you, Patrick Mahomes, maybe his offensive line isn't able to protect him as well, and the Eagles' defensive line can rush the quarterback and get there. But again, I feel like it's just going to be too much firepower from the Chiefs' side of things. No one is able to guard Tyreek Hill on the Eagles' defense, let alone, we're talking about the whole league, and we saw that last year when no one was able to stop him. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league right now, even though we didn't win the MVP last year. But again, even though it's a home game, I'm still giving the Eagles a loss here.
Yep, came back to the Super Bowl again. It's easy. This week's easy for us guys. Unfortunately, that's an L too from me. Week 5 at the Panthers.
Wow. So this is 2 rebuilding teams going at it. This time they're in Carolina's stadium. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Eagles in this one. I don't know why. I just feel like Carolina's a little bit farther away than the Eagles are, especially in terms of quarterback play. So I'm going to give a slight edge to the Eagles on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give the Eagles the edge too, but not because of the quarterback play. I think Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, it is what it is. It's a toss-up. Sam Darnold probably more experienced, but Jalen Hurts definitely showed flashes last year of what he can do offensively. I think this is a game where the Eagles, they're a 3-game losing streak right now in my book. They have to have a bounce-back game. They're going to Carolina, who didn't really have a great season last year. I know their offense is pretty decent. We'll see what happens with Sam Darnold and his development, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. The list goes on and on. We'll see if they're able to stop Christian McCaffrey. I think they'll be able to go down there and get a solid win in Carolina and go to 2-5 on the season.
Definitely an easier matchup going into this one. After facing week 1, Matt Ryan, you got Jimmy G, then Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. Then you got Sam Darnold. Now, I don't hate Sam Darnold. I think he's a decent quarterback. He was just in New York, the wrong place. The Eagles are going to snap their losing streak at 3. This is an easier matchup, as I mentioned. That's a win for the Birds. Week 6 against the Bucs, guys. I don't think we need to get into this a lot. We're probably all on the same page unless someone has a curveball for us.
Yeah, nope. Brady's still pissed off about Super Bowl 52. That's going to be it. That's easy L.
Yeah, this is a game where I mentioned you guys off camera there. The Eagles always win or lose a game that they shouldn't, and they should. This is one of those games I had the Eagles losing, but I don't know. It's one of those things where would I be surprised if they win? Probably, but at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Anything can happen, and what we predict isn't always what the outcome is. But again, too much firepower. The Buccaneers defense specifically, let alone Tom Brady for right now. We just talk about the defense and how great it was all throughout the playoffs last year. They really didn't lose anybody. Obviously got Shaq Barrett back there on the defensive line. Give the Buccaneers the win here.
Yeah, that's a big L for week 6 from all of us. Week 7 at the Raiders. This one could go either way.
It can, because you never know with the Raiders. Gruden pretty much has his team around that 500 level. They don't succeed. They don't do anything great. It can go either way. As Max has said before, the Eagles for some reason win games that they're not really supposed to be in. Vegas is probably going to be favoring Las Vegas Raiders by this time. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Eagles only because they just win games for some reason they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, I'm going to give the Eagles the advantage here just because of the fans. I feel like there's going to be almost a home game. I'm hearing a ton of people, and I know you guys as well, a bunch of friends, family members trying to get tickets to go out there and see the game. I feel like it's going to be a home game for the Eagles. I'm giving them the edge here in a close one on the road. Give them a 3-6 record overall at this point.
Yeah, I might even be there, Max. You mentioned it. And yeah, this is a game where I was trying to figure out what the Raiders really have and how that's going to go. But I'm going to have to give the win to the Birds. And yeah, it could go either way. But for me, that's a win for the Birds. Week 8 at the Lions. This we all might be in agreement to.
Yeah, man, this is another one of those weird games. The Detroit Lions, they're still in the rebuilding process as well. They have a new quarterback, Jared Goff, but their running game with the young DeAndre Swift, yeah, they're still building too. New head coach. You know what? I'll give the slight edge to the Eagles. I don't know why. This feels like a win.
Can't lose to the Giants, guys. I'm sorry, or excuse me, to the Lions. You just can't do it. I cannot see the Eagles lose to the Lions. They need to win this game. The Lions have been one of the bottom feeders in the league for the past handful of years. Matt Patricia, excuse me. He was obviously out. Obviously, yes. They brought in their new head coach. He was a guy who was trying to bite off kneecaps and things like that. So with Matt Patricia gone, I think that automatically makes the Lions team better. But at the end of the day, the Eagles go into Detroit. They get a win here. A much-needed win at that as well.
Yeah, Darius Slay returning to Detroit. If we lose to the Lions, I'll be very upset. Whether they're biting our kneecaps off or not, I think that's going to be a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's move on to Week 9 against the Chargers.
Now, for some reason or another, I don't know why I'm leaning towards Eagles on this one because I feel like the Chargers are the better team, but there is a thing about West Coast teams playing on the East Coast and things of that nature. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Eagles on that one just for travel purposes only.
Yeah, guys, I think with this one's tough. This is one of the games I'm back and forth on. The Eagles are home, which kind of gives me some confidence that they'll be able to get the job done. But for right now, in this moment in time, I'm going Chargers. I think Justin Herbert's going to take a real big step forward here in year 2. Not that he was bad last year. He was actually one of the better rookies, obviously, with his stats and what he showed. I think he's going to come into Philly and just be too much of a problem for the Eagles. Obviously, the Chargers defense still middle of the pack in football. But again, Keenan Allen, a guy the Eagles, hopefully they'll try to match up with Darius Slay. We'll see if we can get a bounce back season from him. But I just feel like the Chargers will be too much, maybe win by a touchdown.
Yeah, this game specifically was a game that really changed my record prediction. This game and also the division matchups because those are so hard to predict. But Justin Herbert, great quarterback. He showed so much just as a rookie quarterback. And you got Allen over there. It's going to be very hard, Max. You mentioned games that are going to surprise us this season, and I think it's going to be this one. I think the Eagles come out with a win. Now, Week 10 at the Broncos. This shouldn't be too hard of a pick, in my opinion, but let's hear it from you guys.
It shouldn't be, but playing at Mile High and at high altitude, the team is going to have to get adjusted to playing in that. There is a thing about playing in those high altitudes and those mountains, and it does do something to a player that's not used to being in those altitudes. So the thing is this, though, the reason why I'm going to give the Eagles the slight advantage only because I just feel like the Broncos are also a rebuilding team as well. They don't 100% know what direction they're going in. So at least with the Eagles, we kind of have a sense of where they're going, what they're trying to do. So the slight edge is going to go to the Eagles on this one.
You know, if the Eagles luck out and face a wide receiver as a quarterback on the opposing team, you never know what can happen. Maybe they get lucky this week. But I am going to give the Eagles the win. I get the whole altitude thing, but the Eagles, one of those teams that we've talked about again on the podcast and obviously off camera with all the coaching changes and things like that, it's kind of really hard to predict. But I feel like this team will go into Denver, be able to get a solid W. I don't believe in Drew Lock as being the franchise quarterback there for the Denver Broncos. I see the Eagles moving to 5-7 on the year.
Yeah, Drew Lock, he lost his opportunity to start. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Unless the Broncos somehow end up with Aaron Rodgers on their team, I'm going to go with an Eagles win in Week 10. Week 11, the Saints
I got that as a loss. I just feel like after last year with Jalen Hurts coming out being the starter and surprising everyone with the victory, and it was a slight victory on top of that. I just feel like the Saints are going to kind of look out for revenge. So Sean Payton's one of those guys where, look, you do something wrong to him, he's going to come back at you with furious vengeance. So I got that as a loss.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you look at, and I think when you hear the public opinion right now, this is one of those toss-up games. We have Drew Brees obviously retiring. We'll see what happens when Jalen Hurts was able to take over the reins last season. This was his first win as a starting quarterback at home. So people have that in their back pocket to bank on. But I just feel like the Saints are just going to be too much to handle for the Eagles. Still overall well coached. Of course, we'll see with Jameis Winston taking over at starting quarterback position for them. Will we get the Jameis Winston where he's throwing, 4 or 5 touchdown passes a game? Or are we getting the Jameis Winston where he's throwing 4 or 5 interceptions a game, or both? We'll see the combination there. But I have the Eagles losing this one, dropping to 5-8.
Yeah, Max, you hit it right on the head. Too much to handle for the Eagles. And look, I get it. It's Jameis Winston. But the thing is, Jameis Winston doesn't really have to pass the ball around that much. He's got Alvin Kamara over there. And also on defense, they had the number 2 ranked defense last season. This is going to be a loss for the Eagles.
They were the number 1 defense going into the game against the Eagles. So, yes,
Right.
You are absolutely correct on that.
Week 12 at Giants.
I have them splitting every single division this year. So, I'm going to say this is a loss for now, but I do think they're going to bounce back against the Giants the next time they see them.
This is one of those revenge games for the Giants. They'll be at home. There's going to be fans in the stands. People think that the Eagles tanked on purpose, of course, against them last season, so they weren't able to make the playoffs. I feel like the Giants going to come out with some firepower. And again, I have the Giants losing to the Eagles later on in the year, like T said. But for this one on the road, I'm actually going to give them a loss here and go to 5-9, which is I know the fans don't want to hear it, but this is danger territory as far as playoffs go.
Yeah, I have this series and the Cowboys series split. And I think that this week 12, I don't know. I have it as a win, but now that I'm thinking about it, they're beat up going against the Saints. I think I'm going to make a switch here, and I'm going to have them as a loss, week 12. All right, week 13, New York Jets.
I'm leaning towards victory. It's the stinking Jets.
Leaning towards, you should be set on victory, T.
Yeah, I'm not settling for anything with this team. This team is still an unknown to me.
I'm going with the Eagles here. 6-9 is my opinion at this point in the season. We'll see with Trevor Lawrence. We'll see with the Jets are one of those teams that again overhauled Robert Saleh. He'll be in his first season as the head coach there of the Jets. Defensive-minded head coach. I'm sure there'll be improvements to the Jets defense. But again, the question is going to be the offense. Trevor Lawrence. I know they signed Corey Davis. We'll see if the Jets offense is able to put up a good chunk of points. You can't get much worse than last year. But I'm going to give the Eagles the edge here, 6-9.
Yeah, it's the Jets. I have them as a win for the Eagles. All right, week 14 is a bye. Then we're going to go to week 15 against Washington.
Once again, like I said before, I'm going to have them splitting every single division game. So I'm going to chalk this up as a victory, and then they're going to lose the next one to Washington.
I'm giving the Eagles a win here too. Coming off the bye week, they're going to have to be able to, stop that defense of Washington. They got a great defensive line. We know Chase Young there, of course. The whole defense, really as a whole, I guess you could say, all together. I know I just used the word whole twice there, but at the end of the day, I think the Washington football team is still a good team. We'll see. Obviously, they made the playoffs last year, but again, I think Eagles at home is the key for me in this position. The Eagles get a W, 7-9 overall.
I have week 15 as a loss for the Eagles, after the bye or not. I think Washington is going to have their way with this Eagles team this season. That's why I have them going 2-0 against the Eagles, and this is the first win. Week 16, Giants again.
The split. So one of them they're going to win, one of them they're going to lose. This is the one they're going to take the loss in.
I'm going to have to go with a win here as well. I think they're going to lose up in New York, New Jersey, whatever. And this one they're going to bounce back and get a W at home.
I got a win for the Eagles week 16 as well. Week 17, back again against Washington.
Loss. Split.
This is going to be tough. This is the one game of the season. We talk about division games, and this is one of those where do you go with the Eagles losing twice or winning twice to the Washington football team? Either way, for me, if I have to look at it, traveling down there to Washington, I'm gonna have to give them a win here. I feel like they're going to come through. I feel like they're going to beat the Washington football team twice this year. I think they're going to finish up this season strong after having a rough start to the year.
Yeah, Washington. Once again, I have Washington beating the Eagles, but this is a very important stretch for the Eagles season. Depending on how they are after the bye week, you just have 4 straight division games. That's pretty crazy for a schedule. And Washington facing them for the first time week 15 and then back again week 17. It's an interesting layout of the schedule. I don't know if you guys thought the same when you saw it, but
it is.
Let's hop week 18, a longer NFL season this season against the Cowboys. What do we have?
Loss. They're going to miss the playoffs. You guys are going to be upset when I say this, but I do think Dallas is going to win the division this year. Please don't attack me.
Giving the Eagles a win here. Again, I think they finished the season on a high note. They finished the season really hot, obviously, if I haven't winning all these games in a row. I feel like the beginning of the season and the schedule is tough. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like this division is poor. I feel like this point in the season, the Eagles will be a cohesive unit. They're going to go through battles together. And when they have to go play these division games, I feel like they're going to come together. Nick Sirianni is one of those coaches where he really believes in, teaching the fundamentals, making guys stick together and don't lose the locker room. They're going to get rid of the Carson Wentz situation this year where people were pointing fingers, don't know who their starting quarterback is. I feel like this point in time, I'm banking on the fact that Nick Sirianni, his coaching staff, again, it's a prediction because we don't have any track record of what Nick Sirianni can do as a head coach. But I feel like the guy, of course, his interviews are a little crazy, but his personality's there. And, I'm confident. It's kind of how it's the same way I feel about Nick Sirianni is how, Tanner, you really feel about Jalen Hurts, really high on him. I think Sirianni's got has a great, mindset going into this year. I just feel like the Eagles finish up strong.
Yeah, he was a little stiff in his interviews before heading out to training camp, but seeing him in his natural habitat, more comfortable, it was flowing more. He felt more comfortable. And I think that's really important, especially for this Eagles season. If Sirianni is really on point, this could be a really good season for the Eagles. And I have them, whether it's important or not, winning this last game because they're definitely not going to end. They can't end the same way they did last season with benching Hurts and all that drama. So I have them finishing with a win. T, I know you wanted to bring up the Vegas line and the prediction for the Super Bowl. So give it to us.
So this is interesting to me. I came across this in my search, and this is according to the lines.com. So the odds are already out in terms of what the odds are. The Eagles win the NFC East, the win totals, and the Super Bowl odds. Well, when the odds first dropped, the Eagles were a plus 5,000 to win the Super Bowl. However, after trading away Carson Wentz, those odds dropped to plus 10,000. So for any of you bettors out there that really want to take a chance and really think that the Eagles somehow or somewhere are going to make the Super Bowl, boom, there it is. You'll be very rich if they win the Super Bowl. I think you'll personally be out of a lot of money. The NFC East odds, the Philadelphia Eagles currently hold a plus 550 odds to win the NFC East. That is the last in the division. So odds aren't in our favor. All right. So they have the win total at 6.5 wins for the Eagles. I have them going over only by 1.5. I have them finishing the season at 8-9. I think this is the developmental year. However, there are things that are going to happen that they can develop on and they can really ride on for the next season, in which they will have plenty of cap room and be able to make moves necessary to be competitive in the following season.
Yeah, listen, I think when we go through this, and of course, when I first did this whole schedule prediction, I saw it, went through it. It was around like 8 wins. I think they're going to have a winning record because of what we just did here. And of course, I think I had my numbers mixed up a little bit when we were going through the schedule. Of course, I said, 3 and 4 when I meant something else. That's my apologies there. But I feel like the Eagles are going to have a winning record, 9 to 10 wins. I know we just went through it and tried to pick specifics, but I feel like they're really going to be in that range. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just a little bit higher on them. I feel like at first with Nick Sirianni, of course, came out in the media and everybody bashed him for how terrible his interviews were. But this is a new era this year, not only with a head coach, new quarterback. We'll see. It's all new. It's all fresh. And I feel like I just had to have some confidence in this team. Last year was a weird year. 2020 was poor. Maybe this is just part of being a huge Eagles fan inside and just wanting them to do well based off of how poor last year was. But Jalen Hurts, man, hopefully it's all in it. It sucks because second year, putting a lot on the shoulders, but Devontae Smith was a good draft pick, and how he was able to build through the offense, defensive lines, and obviously the quarterback, he just needs to take a step forward this year. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up this episode for the Eagles schedule prediction. And we're going to have more episodes coming out every Tuesday. You know how it goes for the Philly Experience podcast. That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in.